Washington Post, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about this ridiculous article from the Washington Post about Luke Combs and his cover of Tracy Chapman's Fast Car. Now, if you don't know, Luke Combs is a famous country artist, and Tracy Chapman is a famous pop R&B artist. Now, Tracy Chapman is black and LGBT, and Luke Combs is a white male. So you got a white male covering a black female song. He's having a lot of success with it. He's #1 on the country charts, and the song originally was not a country song. Now, Washington Post are trying to say, well, because of Tracy Chapman's identity being black and LGBT, she could not have that same level of success as Luke Combs is having, at least not as a country artist. Now, I'm not making this up. Let's get into the actual tweets and articles and whatnot. I will link to everything in the description. But here is the initial tweet. This is the lady that wrote it, Emily Yar. I'm not quite sure what race she is. Doesn't appear to be black to me, but that's a different story, and I digress. You see the caption, as Luke Combs' hit cover of Tracy Chapman's Fast Car dominates the country charts, it's bringing up some complicated emotions in fans and singers who know that Chapman, as a queer black woman, would have an almost zero chance at that achievement herself. Now, what are we talking about? Are we talking about dominating the country charts? Are we talking about being successful at all? Let's dive into it. This is really ridiculous. Now, here's a great rebuttal from someone on Twitter. He says, however much you hate the media, you don't hate them enough. Tracy Chapman was first inspired to pick up a guitar watching the show Hee Haw, maybe the most country show in the last 50 years of network television. Fast Car is a great song, was massively popular when it came out in my youth, and Luke Combs' country cover of it is also great. Growing up, I listened to tons of country, blues, folk music, understanding that they came from similar places, touched on similar themes, and often influenced each other. We have enough problems without idiot prestige journalists trying to stir up racial discord in a situation that really should show how much very different groups of people can have in common. Very well done. Very well done. And Twitter added a community note staying here to just talk about the success of Fast Car when it first came out back in the late 80s. Check it out. Fast Car by Tracy Chapman was nominated for 3 Grammy Awards, including Record of the Year and Song of the Year. She won for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance and Best New Artist. Okay, so she was nominated for Grammys, has 7 total nominations, 1 for Fast Car. So whereas Luke Combs is Grammy nominations for Fast Car, I've not seen anything about that. So how is he more successful than her? Oh, I guess it's about her not being able to be a country artist, and Luke Combs is. So rather than just saying, okay, she's not having as much success as him, which is false. She's had more success than him with her song back in the 80s by winning Grammy Awards and whatnot, and by the song still being relevant to this day, okay, almost 40 years later. They're trying to say the only reason why he is able to become successful in country is because he's a white male and not a black LGBTQ elemental P XYZ female. That is the whole thing, which is ridiculous. It is totally ridiculous because Tracy Chapman was not a country singer. What are we talking about? Okay, she was pop R&B. She was not a country singer. And I'm not really sure about this whole thing. I guess they're trying to say that it takes a white man to come in and take a black woman's song and make it popular. Again, she won Grammys for the song in the 80s, in the late 80s. Okay, and the song is still relevant to this day, which is why he was able to cover it, and it still go to #1. All right. Now, of course, he's famous, but the song is a great song. It has proven itself to be timeless. So what are we talking about exactly? Let's keep on going here. Now, that's her right there, Emily Yar. Again, I'm not quite sure what race that is. I don't know what race. Can't say that, but I digress. Now, here is the Grammy nods. All right. Can we just jump through right here? So Tracy Chapman, album of the year, she was nominated. And then I guess she won for contemporary folk album. And then Best New Artist, she won. Fast Car, she won for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. And that's what it was. So Best New Artist, she got 3 Grammy Awards and 7 nominations right there. And then that's just what it is. And she won more. She won again in 1997. So I don't understand. What are we talking about? This is an accomplished person, a successful person. What are we even saying? All right. And here's an article over on Fox about the whole situation. Luke Combs' Fast Car success marred with complicated racial debate. All right. And it's just totally bogus. I will link to this article in the box. But what I want to kind of get to is this whole thing about cover songs and, oh, it took a white man to make it successful. Again, she won Grammys for it. But beyond that, there have been plenty of times when you have black artists cover white artists and you don't even know about the white artist song at first. The black artist version of it becomes much more popular than the white artist. And we ain't talking about obscure white artists. We're talking about highly famous, legendary white artists and bands. Let's continue here. All right, now I put a little list together right here, so y'all please pardon this little janky presentation. But Luther Vandross, his entire catalog was full of covers from white artists, black artists, famous, non-famous, whatever. Okay, his whole catalog was full of covers. I can't even list them all right here. But here's one of the most famous ones. Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You, was a Dolly Parton cover. She wrote that in the 70s, and then Whitney put it out in the 90s. And I guarantee you, the majority of normies walking around, they would know Whitney Houston's song and not even know that Dolly did it first. And a cover, if you don't know what that is, a cover is when someone takes a song and sings it verbatim in their own way. That is a cover. All right. Tina Turner, Simply the Best. That was a cover of a European artist. I think she was a Welsh artist by the name of Bonnie Tyler. Okay. It was a direct cover. Let's go back to 1970, right? Oh, ABL, we talking about modern times. What about back in the 60s, 70s? Okay, 1970. I Can Tina Turner. I Can Tina, Proud Mary was a cover of Creedence Clearwater Revival, an entirely white band. Okay, and you're probably going to know their version over CCR, all right? And again, we ain't talking about slouches. Dolly Parton, Creedence Clearwater. I mean, we're talking about mega groups, mega famous, Hall of Fame. We ain't talking about random normies. Bonnie Tyler also is no slouch. All right. Run DMC, of course, Walk This Way, famous Aerosmith cover. You probably would know them from performing it together on stage. You probably wouldn't even think that that was an Aerosmith song originally. You might think that they were a feature. That was their song that Run DMC cover again in the 80s. And then what else we got? Oh, Bad Wolves. A lot of y'all might know about Bad Wolves. This is a group, and I think their lead singer at one point was black. I'm not sure if he's there anymore, but their song Zombies was a cover of The Cranberries, which was an Irish group, R.I.P. Dolores. Sinead O'Connor, Nothing Compares to You was a cover of Prince. And this is an example of a white artist covering a black artist and having a lot of success. Now, are we going to try to say Prince could not have the success that Sinead O'Connor would have? Is that what we're going to say? Are we going to say that a legendary artist, Prince, could not have Sinead O'Connor's success? Now, that song was very successful for her, but are we going to try to downplay Prince? I don't think so. And then Alien Ant Farm, of course, Beat It, Michael Jackson. I mean, are we going to try to say, now that song for them was very wildly popular, but are we going to sit here and say that Alien Ant Farm, a white group, had more success than Michael Jackson? I think not. Let's stop playing games. Why must we play games? Like, I don't really understand. It's so weird to me. As I close, I want to say this. Shout out to all the musicians out there. If you have good music, then that's all that really matters. All this race stuff is so dumb. Okay. The whole thing about being a country star. Look, they're trying to bring diversity to Nashville. Nashville, it is what it is. Country music is mostly white. And that's just a fact. The same way Rap and R&B, mostly black. That's not a bad thing. It is what it is. Why must everything be so equal? I don't understand. Hockey is mostly white. A lot of these guys from cold countries, Canada, like Eastern Europe, a lot of these guys grow up playing hockey, grow up in cold environments. You're not got a bunch of guys from South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Texas playing hockey, okay? What are we going to do? Play football, basketball, which is why the majority of basketball players, black, the majority football players, black. Is that a bad thing? And in football, you got these big, strong, 300-pound white guys on the offensive line, and then the strong, fast black guys on the defensive line. Is that a bad thing? Why can't we just say these things are what they are and accept it, okay? And when we come together, like on a basketball team, a football team, different races, we work together all for a common purpose. When the Nuggets won in the NBA, you got their star player, Nikola Jokic, a European white dude. He has a black teammates, white teammates, whatever kind of color teammates, all together, popping the champagne, hoisting the trophy. That's what it should be about. All this racial division is so ridiculous and so corny. I hate it. Washington Post should be ashamed of themselves for trying to push the racial division when there is absolutely zero need for it. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think Washington Post was right? Do you think they were wrong? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. They were 100% wrong. Tracy Chapman was not a country artist, so why try to say that she would not have success as a country artist? Okay, she had success as what she was. Okay, Grammy nominated, Grammy award winning. What are we talking about? I just don't get it. It's so weird. I think people get bored and they're trying to find something to do, something to complain about, and then they found this. There is no reason to do it. It's not a real thing at all. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.